What's going on YouTube? S197 Danny here. The day is finally here. Today we're doing the electrical steering rack swap. I feel like I've been talking about the swap forever. If you go back on my Instagram, you will see I've been talking about the swap a lot. And with this topic getting brought up a lot, comes with a lot of questions. And this video is to answer a lot of those questions that be in my DM and in my comments. So enough of talking, let's get to the swap. So let's start off with talking about the things that we need for the swap. The first thing you're gonna need for the swap, obviously, the most important piece of the whole puzzle is the electronic steering rack. I got mine from my local pick apart junkyard and cleaned it up, sprayed it, just made it look newer. The second thing you're gonna need is a new or modified K member. When I say modified, I'm meaning that the electronic steering rack has a third bolt in the back, where the hydraulic steering rack that we had previously only had 2 bolts. So you would need to modify your existing K member to make a hole for that third bolt, or just update your whole K member, which I did. I went with the BMR 2005 to 2014 K member. The difference between 05 through 2010 versus 2011 through 2014 is that third space in the back for the electronic steering rack. The third thing we're gonna need is the wiring harness that goes to the electrical rack. Our previous system, the hydraulic system, had no wires coming from it. So what we would have to do is take the harness coming out of the rack, tie it into the wires going into the PCM, add a fuse on a wire. The other 2 wires is the power and the ground. The fourth thing you're gonna need for the swap is a new serpentine belt. When you take off the hydraulic pump off the block, their old belt would be too big, so you're gonna need a smaller belt to connect all the pulleys. I went with 6PK 2240. The fifth thing you're gonna need for the swap is an adder fuse. We're gonna put this on one of the lines coming from the harness, going into the fuse box. Just connects right in. Pretty simple. You're gonna need connectors to connect wires from the harness when we splice into the wires going into the PCM. Now let's talk about how I connected the new system to the car. First, I unbolted the motor mounts, unbolted and dropped the power steering rack, raised the engine above the mount studs with the jack, then I supported my engine with the engine support bar. Then I unbolted the K member. I supported it with a jack because it's heavy, and I slowly released it to drop it down. Finally unbolted the power steering pump from the engine, unbolted all the pump lines from the AC condenser, and removed the whole entire hydraulic system from the car. Bolted on the new K member, dropped the engine back on the new motor mounts, installed the new steering rack, and in my case, I had to remove the inner and outer tie rod ends. Next step, wiring. The harness for the electrical rack comes in a bundle of other parts going to the battery. I believe it is the alternator and the starter are all bundled up in the harness. So basically what I did was strip the harness down to just the 2 connectors that I needed for the electrical rack and reloomed them. All clean and uniform, even where the split is, all clean and uniform. All right, now let's wire it up. The wires that we'll be dealing with today will be these 2. So this connector is from the PCM, and it'll be the one that's in the middle. So the PCM plugs in right here. It'll be it's 3 plugs that plugs into it. Is right on the side of the fuse box. Obviously I'm in the middle of a build and mine is not in the car, so it's in the middle. This plug right here fits right into the middle. So you'll take it off. It's a cover that comes over this. You will pop off the cover with a little small flathead, and you will see that the top two wires, these two that's poking out, top two wires in the top right corner is the wires that you'll be dealing with. I've cut the wires. The yellow one is the positive. The reddish one is the negative. See that the ones at the top, top right. It's the other side. Okay, so what I did was the blue and white one coming from the rack with the yellow one from the existing, the all white one coming from the rack with the pinkish one. Everything crimped, securely in. Next thing we will be doing is running the adder fuse to the yellow wire coming from that same harness. So we stick the yellow wire into there, crimp it down, and now we'll be left with this connector part. We take the fuse out of this position. That fuse is for the PCM run stop. So we take that fuse, put it into here, and then slide this whole piece down bloop, into there. So it'll be replacing the fuse and adding our harness into the fuse line. So I ran the yellow wire to the adder fuse, crimped it down, taped it up for extra security. Put the number 10 fuse into the fuse block of the adder fuse, and then stuck the adder fuse down into the place of where the 10 fuse was. So now the rack has a running stop fuse added to it. We have the communicational lines ran, which I have here, which is taped up. Put the cover back on, rewrap the whole harness. You'll never know I was in there. Okay, now for the power line. Gotta get power to the unit. This is the original harness I took it off of, 2014 harness that I stripped it off of. This is where it went at. It is attached to an inline fuse, 108 inline fuse. So what I'm gonna do, because this is not gonna be my battery setup, what I'm gonna do is I've already ordered another inline fuse that this is just gonna go into. It's gonna come out to another wire, and then I'm gonna hook the power wire up to where the power feeds into the fuse box, and I'm gonna hook the ground up to the ground section. The ground is spot right on top. So the way the fuse box sets up, the fuse box sits like right here. The power feeds into the back of the fuse box from the battery. That's where I'm gonna be hooking my power up to. And then for the ground is right behind it to the existing ground spot. With me being in the middle of a build, it's really no way I can really test this out for y'all. I don't have scratch on the car to even see a turn, but it's just as simple as hooking the wires up and the product should work. Me and a buddy of mine, who actually is the one who put me on the whole idea of a swap, we've been going through this together. He's not in the middle of a build, and he completed his whole swap, and I'll show you video of his working out. So there you have it, the electrical steering rack swap. I know I didn't show y'all my other mods, but there'll be more videos coming soon. Subscribe to the channel to stay in the know. Project Ghost officially on the road to bags. Videos coming soon, baby.